on? Welcome to another Aloha Friday drip.
We're here.
We're here, ready to roll, man. What are we talking about today, Jay?
Today we're going to talk about how to thrive despite interest rate hikes.
Yes, and Jay is excited. Listen, it's Jay Jackson. I call him Jay, just in case there's any confusion out there with the newer listeners.
Yeah.
We call him Jay. Sometimes his eyes glaze over when we talk about interest rates and inflation and, well, shit like that. But you know what? We're going to drip some mindset within these topics so that you know how to thrive with these interest rate hikes that are happening, correct?
Yes. This is really important stuff. No, I will not. No glaze over my eyes today. I will not be sleepy. I've got my Zoa freaking ready to go, dude. We're ready.
Shit. I need a Zoa. I forgot my Zoa. Nico!
Gosh, dude.
Damn it. Thank you.
The best.
All right, let's talk about some wins. Jay, tell me a personal win before we dive in.
You start. You made me start last week. You start this time.
Shit. Personal win. A personal win is that I got a pink Zoa to match my shirt. Thank you. By the way, listen, Dwayne, buddy, some of you know him as The Rock. I know him as Dwayne. Dwayne, The Rock Johnson, are you going to sponsor us?
Yeah.
Because we're rocking Zoas all the time.
And we get views on YouTube.
Yeah, lots of them. So, shares, too, because our listeners are the freaking best.
I mean.
So, listen, if all of you will share this clip right here, tag Zoa, and then tell all your friends to share, we might get somewhere.
Oh, nice.
So, here's a win of mine, okay?
Sharing to get somewhere.
Here's a win of mine. A win of mine is that, you know what? I should have thought of a win before I asked you about your win because
I have one, dude. Okay. Think about one while I talk about mine.
I'm gonna be listening to yours when I'm thinking of one.
No, dude, because it's actually really it doesn't have anything to do with what we're going to talk about today. But a personal win for me is I'm gonna really try really hard to do this without getting emotional. But one of the things that I've realized in my life that I'm super grateful for is my friendships.
Yeah.
Like so grateful for that. And that's just a huge personal win. That's something that I've been able to carry since I was a kid. Some of my friends from childhood are still my best friends, are still my brothers. And then on the other side of that as well, all of my professional relationships are my friends too.
Yeah.
So it's just this really special thing for me. Friendship has always been very, very important to me. And it's just something that I've noticed with you, with Strat and Nico. It's like it's interesting how we're able to have a professional relationship but also be friends.
Totally.
It's a special thing. So it's something that I'm very grateful for, and that's a huge personal win for me. That's a huge win in my life for sure.
Awesome win, bro.
Yeah.
You always have friends in town, man. It's true. I wish my buddies would come visit me. Listen, all my buddies, high school
different
buddies.
Different seasons. We're in different seasons.
Tell my high school buddies who are. That was a slight slap in my face. Mm-hmm. My high school buddies are still alive. I'm not that old. They haven't passed away. It's not that season.
That's not what I'm talking about.
We still. I just celebrated 20-year high school reunion. Well, I celebrated. I wasn't there, but I celebrated it here.
Good.
So my buddies, who are my lifetime buddies, not just a seasonal buddy.
Sorry.
Get your ass out here and visit.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Nope. Listen. Get your ass out here and visit, or you will be a seasonal buddy. Boom. So my high is that is that I'm gonna have some friends come visit because they're gonna see that. Okay. Personal win is I don't know. Coaching packs is what my mind continues to go through, and just it is so easy to justify. It's at 4:30, right? And it's so easy. Practice is at 4:30 today, and it's so easy to justify not going there. Like, man, there's so much stuff that piles up, and man, I got to get this done, what I'm proud of myself of is I've forced myself to not justify it.
Yeah.
There's no justification. I don't want to get a habit of justifying not being there.
Yeah.
So I'm there every day, man. And it's increased my relationship with Pax a ton. It's been awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. So. Do you know what I do in those situations? Because that's something that I have a hard time doing too, dude, is justifying time for relationship building. Dude.
Yes.
But it's something I learned from you, something I learned from Dallas, something that we all kind of continually learn is how much we benefit from these relationships.
Oh yeah,
it's a father-son relationship, so I don't quite understand it.
Yeah, you do. You're a son, bro.
Oh yeah, I guess I do. For sure. Man. Just not from a father's perspective, rather. But it's the same thing with my buddy in town, dude. It's like I took half a day yesterday off, but that refueled me and that re-energized me, and that I was able to have that moment of gratitude of man, I have the best friends.
Yeah.
And be able to recognize that.
That's awesome.
So, dude, but it's really having a strategic approach to it. Is this going to benefit me? And it is.
Yeah.
And it is, and recognizing that and
Love
taking
it,
that
bro.
time to do that. So, no, I'm proud of you for doing that, though, dude. That's a huge win.
Thanks, dude.
You're very disciplined, dude. You like to work. You're a hard worker.
I do love to work.
You do.
I do.
So it's been cool to watch you make those adjustments and see the benefits there too, dude. So
Powerful.
Great job, man.
All right. Okay, let's dive into this thing, dude.
Yeah, dude. So the Fed, we want to talk about how to thrive despite the interest rate hikes.
For sure.
Right? The Feds have raised the interest rates again, and it's all the people are talking about. So do you mind if we riff on that today? If we kind of go, we kind of chat on that. Sweet, dude. Do you believe interest rates hikes will impact the multifamily space? If so, how?
I love Jay. I love. So just for the record, okay, I sprung this on Jay last minute. I was like,
yeah,
this is what we're going to talk about.
Because you want to talk about it. It's important. We got to talk about it.
Because it is what people are talking about.
Dude,
so Jay's like, okay. But listen, it is so important. We're going to tie into how you can thrive right now, because do I think the interest rate hikes impact the multifamily space, dude? Absolutely. Obviously. Definitely. Right. Yeah. But here's the thing. We'll get into some. I would love to get into some of the problems that those cause, the issues that are coming down the pipeline. But I also would challenge people, dude, to freaking focus on the solutions as well. Focus on the opportunities of those as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yes, very much so. Because when people talk about these rates, just to hammer down on what you're saying, when the conversation happens about the interest rates, it always turns negative. Of deals are going to become harder. I'm not going to be able to find deals. I'm not going to be able to
qualify
close.
For the debt.
I'm not
going to pencil out.
Right.
Yeah.
All this negative talk.
Bro, totally.
But it's to cut that shit out and be more positive and be more solution based.
And it's important to recognize those things. And I know that that is important to recognize, but you have to look past it to find the solutions. I'll give you an example. Okay? Opportunities, solutions, whatever. We started the MF Aloha Fund, and we didn't start that on accident. We started that because here's what we knew. We exited a bunch of properties knowing that interest rates would hike, because they had to hike. They were at historic lows. Inflation was at all-time highs. It's like they had to increase. It was going to increase.
Yeah.
So we're not just looking in and going into these properties and in these investments of things are going to continue to be amazing. We're always forecasting, always looking, always planning. Because, dude, it's what we do for a profession. It's like, I don't even know the exact number, but we have a whole bunch of money, of investor money that we've invested, a whole bunch of our money that we've invested. It's like we dedicate our lives to it, so we're tracking these things all the time, right? So it's just very important. So why did we start? So we exited knowing that we could exit at the top of the market, a bunch of properties, $99.6 million worth of real estate or something. By the way, we bought that for $54 million. So pretty good increase over 18 months.
Incredible.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
But we exited at the right time. And then we started a fund knowing that interest rates are going to hike. Why? Because we knew that there was going to be the best deals that would be coming down the pipeline would need, you have to act quick on those.
Yeah.
So we create a fund, this solution, so that we can thrive, right? So you mind if I get into some of those opportunities?
Yeah. What are those opportunities you're seeing? That was going to be the next question.
Okay,
dude,
so we're closing on Friday. In fact, on Friday, we're closing on our biggest deal that we've ever closed on. How many units, Jay?
Oh, gosh, I can't remember.
What?
I hate when you put me on the spot like this.
I love putting you on the spot, bro.
It's over 300. No, I can't even remember. Tell me.
Nico, please send Jackson his
final check. I'll fire myself.
616 units.
Thank you. I'm getting all mixed
There's a lot of stuff coming through the pipeline.
A lot of properties going around. I apologize.
616 units. But I want you to understand how we got this deal. We got this deal from, once again, we have tons of relationships, and it's from our attorney who brings us these deals because first off, the seller didn't plan properly for the debt, and it had a variable rate, and all of a sudden that changes, and now they have to exit. Okay, now they bring us this deal from a partner that gets in trouble. They need us to come in and help, and we're able to come in and swoop up this property appraised for $96 million, and we're picking it up for...
I can't remember. Any of the details. I apologize.
85 million. 85 million. So you think about that. And not only that, we get guaranteed cash flow. In fact, the cash flow has already been paid to us up front for 18 months. So 18 months of cash flow returns to our investors is already in an account.
That I did know about the property.
Yep.
It's a stabilized property.
So you think about this. If I were to tell you a year ago, hey, we're going to buy a $96 million property for $85 million property, and we're going to have 18 months of cash flow in a reserve account for you already, would you think that that's a problem or an opportunity?
Definitely be an opportunity.
Right?
I know it was a rhetorical question because it's an easy one, but yeah, definitely a huge opportunity.
But right now, in the moment, people can't even look past a problem to see the opportunity.
Right.
Well, dude, we have a fund. That's why we're able to jump in and do that. Another deal. I'll give you one more example, okay? Another deal. So the interest rate hikes are problems. I don't want to discredit that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into what those cause and all those kind of things. But there are also opportunities that come from those problems. You have to look past the obstacles to see the opportunities. And you have to prepare to be able to do that, right?
You have to look. I just want to reiterate that. You have to look past the problems to be able to see the opportunities.
Look past the obstacles to see the opportunities.
That's what you said, yeah. It comes down to one of the other things I just want to quote you on, actually, is if there's no problems, there's no profit.
Yeah.
So you got to have those problems. You got to be able to find – the problems are a good thing.
Yeah.
You got to be able to find the problem but also see the solution past it.
How different is that than how we were trained to look at problems?
It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, most people think problems are a bad thing.
Yeah.
And even if they – and I'll say, even if they think that problems are a good thing or they want to believe that problems are a good thing, they don't know how to solve problems because they don't ask the right questions or take that one next step to figure out how to solve them. So they stay stuck in the problem. They stay rooted in a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So you wanted to talk about one more deal?
Yeah, that I just talked to Ryan about. Like, bro, right before you don't know about this deal because
I talked to Ryan right after you, so I do know about this.
There we go. I love it. But so rates, you mentioned rates increased, right? Rates just increased. I think it was last week, maybe last Wednesday, Friday. I can't remember, but 5-6 days ago, if I remember right. They increased 0.75%. Well, this owner, once again, lack of planning, their debt increased to 8.5% because of that rate hike. And rates have already hiked a bunch. Yeah. But that took it to 8.5, and because of that, they're in trouble.
Explain just a quick example of how somebody can get in trouble there. Explain that.
So it's an adjustable rate. So it's an adjustable rate, which means your rate increases, your debt payment, how much you pay in debt increases, which means now you're not cash flowing.
Right.
So now you're in trouble, especially if you don't have reserves and proper reserves in place. You're in trouble.
And give people an idea: is 8.5% big? Is that
interest rate?
Yeah. Is that a big?
It's a high interest rate.
Yeah.
Way higher.
To increase to 8.5, that's huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the 0.75% increase is huge. That is what took it to 8.5%.
Right.
And that's a bit like, what's interesting, man, is there's a just bad debt piece they had in their period. First off, it's just once again lack of planning. But do you know, like, what's interesting is most of the debt, like if I'm gonna go source new debt right now, we're gonna be in the 6-ish, 6.5-ish% range. Dude, that was standard when I came into the industry. That's what I underwrote my deals at, was that. And it was like, sweet. It's like, it wasn't like oh my God. It's like, it's 6.5%.
That's what it is. Yeah.
The interest rates aren't necessarily the issue. It's the cap rate. It's cap rate compression that's the issue, which all that means is cap rates compress, get lower, prices get higher. And so as you have higher prices and higher interest rates, that's a problem, right?
Yep.
But once again, if we plan and we understand how to look for solutions, dude, this allows us to come in. Their debt is too high, allows us to come in, swoop in because of the debt and benefit. So we're able to provide debt and equity to this deal, which allows us to benefit from the upsides of both sides of the deal.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, do you mind explaining that, the pros and cons of debt versus equity?
So there's debt partners and equity partners. Okay, a debt partner. If you're going to provide debt to someone, the powerful thing of that is you're protecting your downside because it's like whether my deal performs or not, I have to pay this debt payment, right? So you're protecting your downside, but you're limiting your upside because you're at typically a fixed debt here, right? You're not benefiting from the equity growth here. You're benefiting from the protected downside. That's the beauty of a debt side. The equity side, you're not protecting your downside, but you're not limiting your upside. So for example, I just told you that we, bought that 99.6 or exited 99.6 and we bought it for 54 million, right? Sold it for 99.6. Well, the debt got paid just what the debt was,
right?
Which was super low interest rates is what we were paying them, and then we pay it off. That's what they made. Well, what our equity partners, they didn't protect their debt. So they could have lost whatever money that they put in. The risk that a passive investor has is that could go to zero.
Yeah.
You put in $1 million, it could go to zero. That's your risk. You're not involved in the debt. You're not involved in all these other things, but that is your risk. But the upside is you don't have a limit to your upside. That's why those investors, on average, now I can't remember the exact returns, but mid 30% annualized rate of return throughout the entire portfolio that we exited. So if they would have been debt, they would have limited their upside and maybe only made 3, 4, 5%. But because their equity, they made a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But in a time like this, where we can benefit from debt, which means that protected downside, and equity, which means we don't limit our upside, it's massive.
Huge.
It's massive. But how are we able to benefit from that?
Yeah.
We're able to benefit from that because we look for solutions. Because we know what we want, where too many people just look at what they don't want. Can I give you an example of this?
Yes.
We talk about packs of football, right?
Yeah.
This is yesterday, bro. Yesterday. He gets put in on offense, and he's running the ball. And he's just like timid as he's running.
Yeah.
And like to the point where first time he runs, so touchdown is straight, right? He just runs straight to the
sideline.
Straight to the sideline. But his ass still got tackled.
Okay.
Next play, runs to the other sideline, still gets tackled. Next play, timid at the line, still gets tackled. I'm like, shit, man, you got to run this thing,
Yeah.
We get in the car. I'm like, dude, what are you most scared of when you're out there? What are you focusing on? He's like, I don't want to get tackled. I'm like, how come? Well, they might put their helmet in my belly, is what he said. I was like, okay. So the whole time you're running, what are you thinking of? Listen to me right here, because this is massive to every single one of you. Every single one of you, because it's what most people do. What are you thinking of when you're running? He's like, well, I don't want to get tackled. Well, Pax, because you're thinking of, I don't want to get tackled, you get tackled. What's the number one rule when we come out here to play? Have fun. Okay, did you have fun today? No. Okay, so what's fun? Well, scoring a touchdown. That'd be fun. Okay, but that's the result, right? So, but what do you need to do to score a touchdown? To put yourself in a position to score a touchdown, what do you need to do? Once again, focusing on what you want. Listen, focusing on what you want instead of focusing on what you don't want. Focusing on how do I get properties instead of focusing on interest rate hikes.
Yeah.
You have to know both, right? But he tells me, he's like, man, well, I have to run hard. I have to look for the gap. I have to juke. You have to, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
spin.
Yeah, this is what you got to do,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, perfect. If the whole time when you're running, if you're thinking, Matt, like touchdown, how do I get a touchdown? How do I get here? Okay, what do you do, right? You're going to focus on ways to get the touchdown. And guess what? When you focus on the other stuff, you still get tackled. If you don't want to get tackled, the only thing that's going to make it so you don't get tackled is to make sure that you focus on getting a touchdown. Because the only way you don't get tackled is if you're in the end zone.
That's a good point.
So you better get there, right?
Yeah.
Same thing applies to business. Same thing applies to really anything in life. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on all these things that you don't want? Like, oh my God, I don't want to be caught in a property that's, that I can't buy. I don't want to get caught with an interest rate hike. I don't want to get... Or are you focusing on what you do want and then finding solutions to get there? Because whatever it is that you fill your mind with, you will find. That's a fact.
I want to end the episode right there, dude, because not really. I don't really want to end it, but that is so powerful.
Yeah.
Not even Pax playing football, not even in business, but in every aspect of your life, dude. You're going to get what you focus on.
Totally.
You want to focus on the problem. You want to focus on not getting tackled. You're going to get tackled.
Yes.
You want to focus on this problem not happening. Chances are that problem's going to happen because you're focusing on it. No, dude, I love that. That's a life-changing principle for those that are kind of just learning about this. It is a huge, very important principle.
Can I say one more thing with that? Because even if he's focusing on getting a touchdown, even if he's focusing on doing his best, running hard, there's still a chance he gets tackled, right?
Yeah.
So I asked him, I was like, but what happens when you get tackled? Because there's still a chance you get tackled. What happens there? How do you still have fun in that moment? And his response back, that has nothing to do with the episode, nothing I'm tying in, but his response back, bro, was waiting. He's like, to say good job. Sorry. To stand up quick and say good job. And I was like,
I love that. Freaking love that.
Yes, dude. That's exactly it.
That's
anyway.
awesome. That's awesome. But also, it gives you the opportunity when you do get tackled or when you don't succeed at whatever it is you're trying to do to evaluate.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You know what I mean? To evaluate why did I get tackled?
Yep.
What can I do different to make sure I don't get tackled next time?
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Because this is what I added on to what Pac said was, perfect. You stand up as fast as you can, say great job, and then say, but I'm going to get your ass next time. I'm going to get you next time.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say
I
ass.
love it.
For the record, I did not say ass. That's when he gets into out of Pee Wee League. Then I'll say ass.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Where are we at here? Okay. Anything else you wanted to add there on the equity debt piece?
No, man. Just look for the solutions, man. Focus on what you want there. But the whole point is understanding that where so many people are so trepidatious, we're literally seeing some of the best deals that we've seen come across our desk, dude, in a long time. Yeah. Amazing deals. But understand the reason we're able to capitalize off of those deals right now is because we forecasted, put a fund in place. Dude, we filled up our first fund in very shortly.
Quick.
This is our second fund. We did a webinar and had massive success with the webinar. I don't know the exact numbers of what we're fully subscribed or what we're subscribed at, but there is like subscriptions are one thing. Then it's really fully funded once it's actually wires come in. But like, dude, but why are we able to do that? Why is there so much interest? Well, because people understand that there's opportunities with turmoil, and they want to know how to take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, that's huge.
And how do you do that? Well, dude, we dedicate our lives to it, man. We pool together our resources together. I couldn't take down these opportunities by myself. You couldn't take them by yourself. Any passive investor couldn't take them by myself. But by us identifying them and us coming together with our resources, we can take advantage of them.
Yeah.
If you're an operator, your job is to make sure that you put yourself in a position to take advantage of them. If you're a passive investor, your job is to make sure that you're passively investing so that you can take advantage of those things and thrive once again instead of take a dive.
Yeah.
Right?
So as your job as a investor, on a more active side, on the operator side, you talked about forecasting.
Yeah.
And seeing these problems and planning for them.
Yes.
So what are some negative impacts interest rates can cause?
So
what did you find?
There's a lot of things that interest rates can impact directly, indirectly, all those kind of things, right? Probably the most obvious is debt becomes more expensive. And this is where people get like hung up. Like they're running the numbers. Debt's more expensive. We kind of explained this, but interest rates rise, your payment gets more. Also, they'll lend on less because your payment's more. So instead of only needing to come in with 20% down, now you need to come in with 35, 40% down, something like that, right? So definitely makes it the problem there. It makes it more challenging to make the numbers work. As you're trying to run these numbers, trying to get the returns, makes it harder because higher debt means less cash flow. And we need cash flow, especially when we're buying right now in economic uncertainty. One of the most important things we look for. Not speculation, but cash flow.
Current cash flow, yep.
And so that's why it's such a huge win on the Harmony example for us to be able to have upfront cash flow for 18 months. Are you kidding me? It's a huge thing that we negotiated up front, right? So debt becomes more expensive as one of them for sure.
Yeah.
I also believe that there's opportunities within that though.
Yeah.
Can I paint some of those?
Yes, absolutely.
Some of those opportunities, like, and this is what I mean by taking it one step deeper, right? Are there people right now, this is a point of question because it's an obvious question. It's the whole reason we're doing the episode. Are there people, investors on the active side, that are nervous to buy properties because interest rates are hiking?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, man, how is interest rate hikes going to impact multifamily? That's an important question to ask. A better question to ask, maybe, once again, better questions, better results, are how can you benefit from those problems? How can you benefit from the impact, right? And impact, when it says impact multifamily, most people think of that in a negative connotation. How can those, maybe this is an even better question, how can those interest rate hikes impact multifamily in a great way? In a way for me as a buyer to benefit. So when interest rates increase, investor demand a lot of times will start to decrease, right? Because people get apprehensive, they pull away.
Yeah.
It's already happening right now. Already happening.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen more deals. It's probably why we're seeing some of our best deals. See more deals come across our plate than we've seen in, dude, all year.
Yeah, man.
So what happens is there's this lower demand, this lower pool of buyers, which means there's still sellers that have to sell though. So sellers have to adjust. Their prices get lower on what they're exiting. So instead of once again, this cap rate compression, you get cap rate expansion. But you're only going to be able to take advantage of that is if you're in the freaking game, right? You have to get in the game. So, and understand this, as cap rate expansion happens, well, that allows us to maintain our return numbers to investors. But you have to understand how to navigate the waters and actually be on the goddamn field to be able to take advantage of that. You can't be on the sidelines. You have to actually be in the field, on the field to be able to take advantage of that. Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So
totally.
One more thing that I honestly, I'm freaking super excited about, solution-wise, opportunity-wise, is creative financing, man. So as debt increases, it might mean that people use less debt, right?
Yeah.
Well, but once again, sellers still need to sell, especially if they're in trouble, dude. Especially if they're in trouble, they need to sell. Yeah. So that could lead to seller financing and other creative options. That has been non-existent over the last 4 or 5 years. Have you ever even heard us talk about?
We haven't talked about it, but like within the past few months, it's years even, past little while, it has been coming up more and more for sure.
It's been non-existent for a couple reasons. Number one, sellers don't need that to sell. The demand is high enough. Number two is, dude, as a buyer, I don't want your seller financing unless you offer me damn near zero interest, because I can get interest rates for 2-3%. If you can beat that, awesome, I'll entertain it, but you probably can't.
Yeah.
Nor do you need to offer it to me for me to buy, because there's a lot of demand to buy anyway. So creative financing, understand that in and of itself provides freaking massive amounts of opportunity.
Massive.
So there's tons of opportunity,
and
man.
it's almost like the Wild West with creative financing too. Like there's so many different things you can do there to be solution based and to figure out how to get these properties. We've seen it. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he couldn't find a sponsor. He was having the hardest time find a sponsor. He knew this deal was going to work. He wrote out the numbers, whatever. He wanted to take down this deal. Couldn't find a sponsor. Couldn't help somebody get him the loan.
Yeah.
So he addressed the seller, and now the seller is his sponsor on the deal that they're it's a really cool.
I forgot who that is.
I can't remember his name. He's from Tampa. I can't remember his name, but it's just an awesome opportunity, and it's gonna create even more and more opportunities for more and more people.
But bro, that's somebody who's searching for solutions.
Exactly.
That's why mindset and perspective. So many people think mindset is, hippie foo-foo shit. No, dude, it's a business tactic. It's a business strategy. Because if you're looking for solutions, if you're looking for different perspectives, if you're looking for other ways around, you'll find them.
Yeah.
But if you're just stuck on the problem, you'll see the problem.
Can I disagree with you? You said it's a business tactic. Yes. I think it's a life tactic, man. Because
that's not a disagreement. I agree.
Yeah, that's on top of a business business tactic. It's a life tactic, man.
It is.
Mindset is so important. Okay, dude, back here, back to because I want to stay on focus here. You didn't think I could stay focused, but I'm gonna stay focused on these interest rates, dude. You mentioned how current owners could be in trouble.
Huh?
Why is that? What do you mean by that?
So, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier with some of the deals that are coming our way and examples, but there's so many different types of debt pieces, debt terms, debt everything, right? But I'll give you a basic understanding. There's variable, and why they're in trouble, I guess, right? Tons of debt pieces, literally so many different ways to structure debt. But
why are they in trouble?
Variable versus fixed rates. Variable rates are common. Like, let me tell you a pro of variable rates and a con of fixed rates. If I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy a property and I have a short-term business plan on that property, and I put in a fixed rate that's usually going to be a longer term, and then I go to sell it before my term is over, I have a huge prepayment penalty. Well, a variable rate, structuring debt that has variable rates, is usually a short-term business play, which means I can go in and I can improve operations values, increase price value, right? And then go to exit and not pay a prepayment penalty. So a variable rate, there are pros to that because I can pay, sell and not pay a prepayment penalty. But the con is when your rate hike increases and you're still in that property, well, your cash flow reduces, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe that deal was cash flow positive and crushing it at 3.5%, But that shit's doubled over the last year.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, so doubled, this is 7%. Now it doesn't work at 7%. In fact, not only is it not cash flow positive, you can't even pay your mortgage, your loan. We call it a debt service, but you can't pay that. So you start to tap into operating reserves, right, to try to hold on. But you're not holding on because you didn't set up good operating reserves in the first place because you're not good at that anyway.
So this is what you're talking about. So how can buyers benefit?
Well, okay. So when that loan starts to default, these sellers have a couple options, right? They're going to be defaults. I believe we're going to see a huge uptick in defaults on these loans.
Yeah, we're already seeing it.
But we solve the problems that these owners have created. That's my basic answer to you, okay? We come in and we solve these problems. We can take that loan over and actually raise enough money to cover, to make sure that we can pay the payment, make sure that those numbers pencil out, or we can bring in a new debt, buy this off, and once again, underwrite the deal in a way and structure the deal in a way that actually cash flows, right? But do we solve problems? Like I promise you right now, if there are owners that are struggling to pay their debt, what do they start to do? They start to look for solutions. Mm-hmm. The problem though, okay, here's the thing with solutions. Solutions are great. You have to look for solutions, but you can't make a knee-jerk reaction, right? Too many times people will make this knee-jerk reaction. They'll make this short-term decision that will have a long-term impact in a negative way. Mm-hmm. An example of that. Okay, so if you're struggling to pay your expenses, your debts, what are you going to start to do? What should you start to do? Ways to increase income. They'll probably do some of that too, but they'll also look for what can I cut expense-wise. Yeah. Well, one of the ways that they may cut is to freaking lower their payroll, lower their staff on site, whether that be an on-site manager or maybe a maintenance person. If it's an on-site manager, what that short-term decision and a short-term solution, and it may be a positive solution in the short term.
Yeah, right then. Yep.
Right then. But how can that impact you long term if you're not thinking bigger, if you're not thinking of the bigger perspective? More late payments, higher collection costs, because you're not having somebody there to do those kind of things. Right. You fire a maintenance person. Well, now you have increased maintenance requests. The number one reason people move out is not handling maintenance requests. Yep. So you have increased maintenance requests. You have lower satisfaction of your tenants, which means you have higher turnover, and turnover is one of your biggest expenses. So it lowers profitability on all sides. Like, dude, I'll give you one example with this too.
Such a good example though, man. It's just looking forward.
Forward
to like
the bigger picture.
Yes, so good. Okay,
dude, our tagline is think bigger for a reason. We did a whole episode on thinking bigger, but one of those bullet points that we talked about was just looking past this current situation. Yeah. This current temporary situation, and every situation is temporary. Mm-hmm. Understand that even interest rate hikes are going to be temporary, even though they're going to temporarily continue to increase, by the way. Yeah. But if you can just look bigger and just try to see a bigger perspective, dude, you can make better decisions.
Dude, thinking bigger gives you the opportunity to see more opportunities.
Dude, I love that. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Thinking bigger gives you the opportunity to see other opportunities, to see other perspectives and things that could benefit you. So no.
But do you know what that takes?
Dude, go ahead. What does that take?
Aha Nui. Was Aha Nui.
Aha Nui. Dude, gosh, dude. You're hitting me with that.
Bro, wake up.
Aha Nui. I've had Kuleana on my brain a ton lately. I've been thinking about
responsibility.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a ton.
Well, your responsibility is to know Aha Nui.
Aha Nui is patience.
Yeah.
I knew. You didn't say it. I knew.
It's not fair, bro.
What Tyler has for me when he puts me on the spot like that.
It's not fair, dude. Jay can throw questions at me and just throw me off course, but he just leads me with questions. This is what makes you beautiful, dude.
Thanks,
you just
bro.
lead me with questions. And I just throw these random, tell me this Hawaiian definition. Pronounce it. You better pronounce it perfectly.
No, patience is Aha Nui.
Patience.
Yes.
And it means the long breath, right? So to be able to, if you think about this, to be able to think bigger and see this bigger perspective, you need to be able to, how do you think clearly?
Breathe. Oxygen.
And then just take a second to think through it. Just think through it. Last Friday, I took the whole day to just think through solutions, think through plans, think through opportunities. That doesn't mean stay stagnant. It's the opposite. It's not how that works.
No.
It's being able to move in a better direction because you're taking the time to actually think. Being proactive instead of reactive. Slow is fast, man. Slow is fast. Focus on direction way more than speed. And if you focus on direction more than speed, you'll get to where you're looking to go.
Yep.
Right? So many people try to make these reactive decisions in the moment. That's the problem.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So think bigger. Tropical Ridge. I'll give this example, man. We acquired, it's actually called Charbonneau Apartments. I talk about this one a bunch at the boot camps that we do. But Tropical Ridge, but I bring this one up because it is very in line with the problem that we just talked about. Like this problem of these short-term decisions that these sellers, owners that we bought it from, were making that impacted the returns of the property, that created problems on that property for us to come in and solve. And we were able to swoop in, buy this property, solve those problems for these sellers. Those sellers were very grateful for us coming in. And we were able to get a 71% return to our investors in 18 months. How? Because we focused on solutions to the problems they had created. That's super valuable.
Another thing to note there as well, very valuable.
Yeah, I agree.
Not only valuable to them, but valuable to the apartment building, valuable to everybody that's living there, valuable to everybody that's involved. It's just so much value is created there. But another thing that I wanted to add there was another big difficulty during that time. And what was it? You don't even remember because
COVID.
It was right.
Sorry,
it was right in the middle of COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything's moving super, super, super slow. Took forever to get that one closed just because banks and things were moving super slow.
Yep.
But we still got it done.
Yes.
We still saw the solution. Like I remember it not even being.
And where were people sitting on? This is June 2020, man. Where were people then?
Sidelines.
Where are you right now?
Not doing anything.
You on the sidelines? Because, dude, we did an investor webinar not too long ago, probably a couple months ago. And on there, somebody says, well, yeah, these returns are great, but it's because you guys just bought at the right time. You're damn right we bought at the right time. Because why? Because we fucking know how to buy and when to buy, man. And I kicked back and I was like, you're damn right we bought at the right time. What did you do during that time? Did you buy during that time? Then get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
Because you're still doing the same shit that you're doing back then. You didn't buy anything, which is why you didn't buy anything. We bought a lot and we made a lot. What did you do? And then what happened? That guy probably cried. Now I feel bad. I'm going to have to look him up and who it was and reach out and tell him to quit being a little bitch.
You educated.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Okay, dude. Okay, let's get back on track here, dude. Okay, fine.
Just kidding. Go.
All right, dude. Is there anything buyers should do differently as they are buying to protect themselves? Like, is there any safeguards they can put into place here?
Great question, bro. Yes. Okay. So first off, we've talked about focus on solutions, and that applies to everything in life. Okay, so that's a broad statement. I understand that, but anytime, you actually mentioned this, dude, anytime something changes, not just changes negatively, like really anytime something changes, people immediately just focus on that and how negative it is.
Yeah.
Force yourself to take one more step, dude, to take one more step further. And do you want to know how, here, I'm going to open the curtains here. Do you want to know how we attract so many investors? Do you want to know how we bring so many investors in? Yes, it's track record. Yes, it's performance. Yes, it's all those things. But do you know what we do? We take the headlines that the news creates. Listen to me right now. Listen, write this shit down, pull over, whatever you need to do. Whatever the news is creating, whatever this buzz that the news is creating, because I'll tell you right now, the news, they're great at getting a message out. They're great at marketing.
Yeah.
They're great at instilling fear in people.
Great at getting clicks.
So what do? We take those buzzwords that they're using, interest rates, inflation, all this shit. And what do? We take it one more step. Instead of drumming you up to the fear, we show you a solution behind it. That's the secret sauce right there. Put it down. Take whatever fear somebody else is creating, take it one more step to find a solution, and then provide those solutions to people. Step to success.
Done.
Key to success.
Yep.
We bring a lot of people in, we show them how to solve a problem, and they're fucking grateful.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dude, so example of this, right? These solutions, these opportunities. Interest rates go up. The negative side of that we've talked about, debt piece becomes more challenging, harder to make the things. Okay, positive side makes buyers more timid, which means there's less competition. Prices people out of the housing market. Just because of interest rates, your payment has went from, if you're buying a single family home, let's say that you were going to buy in that first part of let's say the first part of 2022 or the end of 2021, your payment may have been $1,500. Now it's $2,000. That prices a lot of people out of the market, but those are phenomenal renters, great renters, renters, great renters, people who pay their bills, do all those kind of things. And what happens? Demand increases. When demand increases, rents increase. Creative financing, like I talked about, becomes an option which was non-existent, which is another creative way for you to compete in the market and take down deals. Take it one more step and look for the solutions. Okay, number two is plan for the problem. Dude, there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems. Problems aren't the issue, man. Being blindsided by them is the issue, right?
Yeah. The problems are so good, man. And if you can plan for those problems, it's even better.
Yes.
Like, it's good when problems pop up and you're like, oh, shit. It, like, keeps you on your toes, right?
Yeah.
And it's another way to add value. It gives you another opportunity to add value when these random problems pop up. But when you can plan for those problems,
totally,
man, they become that much more valuable to you.
Dude, no question, man. Like, you're on a hike, right? Or you're doing the Spartan race and you start getting thirsty or you start getting a little hungry and you're like, I planned for this. I'm going to pull my little zip patch out and get some of this, then get some of this water, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, you're like, I knew. Now, that's not an issue. You already have thought through, you have a solution. It was an issue for me because I had not thought through what those problems were going to be. In fact, I was like, they ain't going to be no problems. I'm a physical specimen. I got this shit. And that blindsided me. Yeah. And you know what? There I was, being a little bitch on the ground, laying on the ground.
Medic.
Please. Tapping out as Nico gallops past with a smile and
trotting along, dude.
Shit. Okay, so plan for them. And when you're underwriting a deal, for an example, understand that rates are going to continue to increase. So plan for that. Even if you're going to underwrite this deal right now and you're putting in an offer, understand that by the time you get it to close, I believe the rate's probably going to increase again. And you need to plan for it to increase again. Some of the deals that are being brought our way are because of this. They're getting to the closing table. They've underwrote their so think about somebody who underwrote their deal a couple months ago or a month ago without planning for another rate increase. And now they're about to close. Yeah. They haven't locked in the rate, and their rate increases 0.75%. Their numbers are impacted. Yeah. Now they're like, oh my gosh, I don't think this deal works. Well, you can swoop in with solutions. So understand, underwrite for the rates are going to increase, but also use fixed debt. You don't want those rates to increase while you're in it. Use fixed debt, man. Make sure that you bridge loans, that kind of stuff. Use fixed debt right now. Also, be conservative in your rent growth. You know, the question is, how do they prepare? What do they be conservative in your rent growth? Like demand, I mentioned that renter demand is high, and it's still super high because in a correction, our demand actually increases, but still, you can't rely on that for your projections. You can't rely, especially on the freaking massive rent growth that we've seen. So look way more on historical data than this futuristic data. Look on historical data and be conservative in your rent growth instead of this futuristic, approach and speculative approach. Be conservative in it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
What's the smirk?
No, dude, I just the planning for problems, man. It's so just listening to you wax poetic, dude. It just puts a smile on my face. But
good answer.
But the planning for the future, dude, I don't really have anything to add other than I agree with everything you're saying. It's powerful stuff, dude.
Man, I wish we talk to the kids. Make sure that shit. How many have I given? I think that's 2.
Yeah, 2.
I'll give you one more, which is just due diligence. And this has been drilled into me from the get. One of my first mentors in the multifamily space, his name is Jeremy, and he just drilled this into me. Screening policies, like doing due diligence, but screening policies, bad debt. Like screening policies is an example, okay? Jeremy was, I don't even know why he was like this. I don't know, maybe he probably had a bad learning lesson, right? Experience, a learning lesson.
Yeah, I like that.
But he was so adamant on verifying income and making sure that the seller's not offloading bad debt. So we always reviewed like leasing criteria. Yeah. Always. Even if the property was performing very, very well, we would always review leasing criteria. Like, and what I mean by that is debt to income ratio, credit score, those kind of things. Like, how are they attracting these tenants? Are these qualified tenants, to make sure that they're going to continue to pay the rent? A way to mitigate risk during any sort of a correction or any sort of a stagnation is making sure that you have an apartment that's full of people that actually pay their rent. Obviously, right? Yeah. So making sure that these little things are in place, huge. So reviewing screening policies. And then the bad debt side is, dude, you have to listen to me. You just have to make sure that the seller, because if they're in trouble, they're going to start to justify shit, right? And they're going to start to try to figure out how they can offload some of that onto you. So they have these tenants in place, slow, non-paying, bad tenants, and it'll go unreported on the books, right, to make the property look better. You have to understand how to identify that. You're going to look at the rent roll, far past just the P&L, the profit and loss. You're going to look at the rent roll. You're going to see who owes for 2+ months. If they owe for 2+ months, you're going to mark that unit as vacant. That's going to reduce your income, but also understand that it costs money to evict people, man. Yeah. So plan for those eviction costs. Make sure that the seller isn't offloading a bunch of bad evictions onto your lap without you even realizing it. It's a way to mitigate it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This is what my smirk was about.
What?
You basically just walked through how to solve all of the problems that everybody's complaining about with interest rates. You just walked through that on how to do that, which is very powerful. And I hope that everybody else caught that. Another thing that I was kind of smirking at here, dude, is it's just the difference between multifamily and a single family type of an investment. Yeah. You can't control these types of things in any other type of real estate investment like you can in multifamily.
Great point, bro.
You can't. So no matter what the rate's doing, you have the ability to react to it and change and modify whatever you need to do. So that's what my smirk's about, is like, if you're not investing in multifamily real estate, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, what are you doing with your capital? Why isn't your capital going to work for you? Especially with operators like Tyler and Ryan, because people that are going to find solutions and make sure that your money gets returned to you with a great return as well. Totally. So, dude, that's really what I was smirking at. It's just like how simple you put it and how great you articulated it. But really, that's what it is. It's finding the problems, fixing the problems, and being paid to fix those problems.
Being dedicated to do that. Yeah. That's what's beautiful about our team. It's like, it's not just me and Ryan. It's, dude, you are involved in that. It's our whole it's our whole team. Yeah. It's like, why? But why is that the case? Because we preach it, we talk about it, and we show that there are actually solutions to every single obstacle, man. There's opportunities behind obstacles. Now, there are bad problems. There are problems that do not have a good return. Right. Knowing that is also massive to understand. Let's say that we're into a property, bro. Let's say that we're into a property and we identify some of these things, okay? Yeah. And the numbers do not work out. Okay, well, that's a problem. Well, okay, so first off, identifying, understanding is a problem, number one. Maybe it makes the returns so that they don't make sense and there's too much risk on that deal to move forward. Okay, so you got to know when to cut the plug and run and roll. Yeah. So it's a bad problem. Right. But you also have to dig a little bit deeper and know, okay, well, maybe I go to the seller and let them know what's happening. They know what's happening. Let them know that I know what's happening, right? Yeah. And negotiate that stuff into the contract. It's funny. It's not funny, but it's crazy how many people are nervous to do that. Like, we've had a number of deals fall on our lap, right? And the numbers aren't working. They're wanting us to come in and solve the problem or just like take it off their plate. We're like, okay, well, let's go back to the seller. Let's go back to the seller. Have you talked to the seller? Have you tried to retrade yet? It's one of the first questions that Ryan will ask these people right now is, have you tried to retrade yet? Yeah. Well, I've thought about it. Well, did you? Well, I have not. Well, okay, well, let's go back and retrade. Let's make sure that you retrade. Let's say that we have some eviction costs that we see coming up. And, you know, these make-ready costs and all these kind of things. Let's negotiate that into the contract. That way, we have that buffer into the contract to make sure that we're avoiding a bunch of financial strain right after we take over. We actually have a buffer there, right? So here's my point with that. It's so important to know the obstacles to look for, right? It's so important to know the obstacles to look for. Most investors, if we're being honest, we talked about this too, but most investors know that there are opportunities during times of panic. They know, they get it. But wise investors understand how to navigate those obstacles, how to actually navigate them. And if you don't know the obstacles or know how to navigate the obstacles, you stay stuck. You stay stagnant. You don't do anything because you're nervous to make a wrong decision, or you make a decision. a wrong decision and you get in trouble. But if you understand the obstacles and how to navigate those obstacles, you in environments like this, change your wealth portfolio for generations, man. Generations. So understanding how to navigate what to do, powerful. You should learn, you should get educated, or you should passively invest with people who are educated and continue to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Jeez. Yes. Thank you, T. So good. No, so good, dude.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for letting me throw a little curveball at you.
No, of course, man.
And talk about some just solutions behind the interest rate stuff, man. Listen, right now is the time to buy. Right now is one of the best opportunities for you to create generational wealth in your lifetime. And you get 2 to 3 cycles in your lifetime. Take advantage of that. Don't be nervous and stay on the sidelines and miss that. When was the last time you saw creative financing options coming down the pipeline? Well, back in 2010. How many of you wish you would have owned properties and bought properties then and rode that wave from 2010 to 2022? You should have. And right now is an opportunity for you to do it again as these problems once again come to the forefront.
Yes. It's so exciting, dude.
These
problems and these things coming down are so exciting.
Yep.
If, like you just said, if you know they're coming, can prepare for them and use them to your advantage, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so excited about the fund. That's why I'm so grateful for Ryan and forecasting to create a fund.
Yeah.
Ryan gets the credit for that.
Absolutely.
Because once again, right now we have this ability to freaking make quick decisions. Quick is good if you know how to make the quick decisions, right?
Yeah.
We're able to solve a problem. Those are your best opportunities to negotiate, man. It's beautiful.
It is.
So to all of you investors who already invest with us, dude, I appreciate y'all. I'm so grateful for y'all because we would never be able to talk about and take advantage of the things we're taking advantage of if we didn't have that partnership. And hopefully you're grateful for us too.
Yeah. So. We're just getting started too. So
shit. No question, man.
Awesome. Hawaiian, do we have a Hawaiian value?
Yes.
Hawaiian value you want to?
I put it in.
Okay.
Dude. It's kapua'a.
Okay.
Kapua'a, okay? Ku literally means to stand. Pa'a means firm or solid. So what this means, kapua'a means to stand firm, okay? And why do I say stand firm? Why is that the principle that I pull? It's because when we live that value, we stay strong in our decisions. We have this strong base, this strong foundations because our decisions are based off of truth. Truth. Instead of when we don't live that principle, you make your decisions based off of news trends or buzzwords or popular beliefs or trends or whatever, dude, you stand on shaky freaking ground, man. Shaky ground. Kapua'a helps us make decisions with clarity, dude, and choose things that will be influenced by truth. And right now, the truth is there's amazing opportunity. If you make decisions based off of truth and prosperity instead of fear and disparity. Is disparity a word?
Now is.
It is.
Yeah.
New word alert.
Yeah, new word alert.
Webster's. New word alert. Disparity.
Disparity.
You
Sounds
think it's
right.
a real word? Despair. Disparity. It's a word. It has to be a word, dude.
It's got to.
So listen, when you make decisions like that, then you will experience something that is ina huku hili oe. Oi. Shit. Ina huku hele oi, which is to the stars upward you go, man.
Like that.
To the stars upward you go. Let's freaking go upward to the stars. Anything to add to that?
I do actually have one thing that I want to add to that.
Let's hear it.
The stand solid and stand firm in the decisions that you make. Have confidence in the decisions that you make. Here's why I say that, dude. Just kind of loop in some of the things we've been talking about in this episode. Stand firm in the decisions you make. By doing so, you give yourself confidence to also find the solutions just in case your decision might have been the wrong one.
Yes.
Because if you're confident in that decision, you're like, no, that's the right decision. I made the right decision. Something else needs to happen for that decision to be the right decision. Is to truly sit back and have that confidence in yourself. Nope, that was the right decision, but this is the solution that's going to enhance that decision.
I love that, bro, because I'm so glad you added that. Because there's no perfect decision.
No,
right?
no.
There's no perfect decision. But when you have confidence,
every decision is the perfect decision.
yeah, because you're making decisions, right?
Exactly.
You're pivoting. You're growing. Like I would rather make imperfect decisions with massive amounts of clarity and certainty than to stay rooted in indecision or make a decision based off of little amounts of certainty.
Yeah.
Because then when something goes wrong, then you're derailed.
Right.
It's
It's like,
confident.
oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. I knew that, but that's not the type of mindset you want to go into anything.
That's it, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's
you don't
it,
want
man. There's a little dude on Paxton's football team. His name's Malu, and Malu. Here's what I love about him. He makes this decision, right, to pivot, to juke, or to hit, right, to run into somebody, and he may get hit, and he may and people may feel he's gonna get tackled. That little shit just keeps his legs fucking pumping.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He keeps going, man. He's so hard to take down. I see these kids try to take him down, and why can't they take him down? Because he just keeps his
going.
mind.
Yeah.
He's confident that he can find a way out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's powerful, bro.
Dude, one of the most powerful and present characteristics that I've seen in you and Ryan is exactly that. The ability to make decisions and pivot in times that you need to pivot.
Bro, huge.
Dude, it is, and it's such a success principle. It's such a characteristic. If you don't have it, worked to get that characteristic of being able to make a decision and stand firm in it.
Thank you, bro. It's a huge freaking
of course,
compliment.
dude, and it's the
Appreciate that.
truth, dude. It's the truth.
Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Go thrive right now, man. Go freaking thrive and live always with aloha. Peace.